A lot of our stories. But either you could dwell on it, or you could take that hopelessness and say, I don't ever want to feel like this again, and let it drive you, and let it be that passion, and let it be that hunger, and let it be that intuition that you get to take advantage of every opportunity that you possibly can. The world is at the palm of your hands. It all depends on what you're doing with it. For me, I try to just lead by example. I think that to be a prime example of how you want people to be in their community, in their culture, and be able to be in society, you have to start where you're from. So I tell people, if you don't know where you're from, you don't know where you're going. And if you don't stand for something, you're gonna fall for anything. I didn't make it through high school. I went to about 25 different schools, lived in a lot of neighborhoods, good, bad, the worst, you name it. In Georgia, I was in a foster home. It was what we had to do. Economically, whether it was an eviction, whether it was, we didn't have lights, food, electricity, money, whatever it may be, but we survived. When I was in first grade, I lived in a neighborhood called North Miami. And in North Miami, I would go to school and the kids would make fun of my nose. They were like, Armando, you got a clown nose, Armando. I started working when I was 5 years old at a flea market on Northwest 7th Street and 37th Ave. And from there, I parked cars at 6 years old. I cleaned bird cages at 7. I sold everything with my mom. My mom sold everything, you name it. So I would knock on doors with her, and I learned what that rejection felt like. But the rejection, again, became gasoline to the fire. And all of that taught me how to appreciate hard work and opportunities. And that's what I learned from growing up. Being there in those situations and just appreciating anything you got your hands on, whether it was a piece of food, a place to stay. Yeah, I was always around some trouble. It came to a point I was doing something outside. My father had told me in Spanish, he said, Armandito, come here. I was taping pistols to the bottom of the car. Since when are you a mechanic? I'm like, oh boy. He said, you keep doing what you want to do. It's your life. But 2 ways this is gonna end up. I'm telling you right now. And he said, dead or jail. The lessons from my youth that were very important to my success. Remember, when you're growing up in a certain environment, you can easily become a product of that environment. My environment was, you're either playing sports, you're selling dope, or you're going to prison and dying. It's not really that simple. That's the multiple choice, A, B, C, D, that's it. What I learned from that is I got a chance to see what I didn't want out of life growing up. And I would say thank you to my mom. I love you so much, but more than giving me love, she gave me survival skills. She taught me how no matter what, no problems, just solutions. So we always found a way to make it happen. And living in all these neighborhoods and going through the system, I just feel like the system was built to fail you instead of push you through. But these aren't things it's not to play victim, it's to play victor. This is what makes me victorious. This is what makes me who I am. Because you take all the negatives and you make them a positive. So to me, that's the biggest lessons that I learned growing up, was just watching that hustle, watching that struggle, watching that sacrifice, and feeling that sense of hopelessness that I never wanted to feel. Well, I learned how to deal with it, but I never wanted my kids to feel that. I never wanted the ones that I love to feel that. And I made a decision when I was about 6 years old. So my decision was, you know what I want out of life? I want security, stability, and protection. Because the environment that I was living in, it was just unpredictable. At any given time, anything could happen. Miss Martinez was the one that told me, the biggest risk you take is not taking one. If it wasn't for her, I'd be dead or I'd be in prison. And I always thought about that. And it stays in my mind. So anytime I feel a little iffy about something, I just think about her. Take that risk, man. Take that challenge. It was so special to have somebody really say, hey, all I want from you is when you win an award one day, just mention my name and say thank you, because I believe in you. One of my best friends was Dominican. His name is Junior. And one day we were on our way, we're in the neighborhood. In the neighborhood, they used to fight dogs. It is what it is. It's a part of the culture. And we were on our way to a pit fight. Junior turns to me, he's like, that's your name. Your name's Pitbull. Got a little ring to it, I like that. Pitbull, pit, yeah. And then as I did my research on pit bulls, they're stereotype dogs, as people feel that they're very aggressive, but they're not. They're a part of their environment. If they're in an aggressive environment, they become aggressive dogs. And I saw a fight in a pit. When it bites, it locks, it doesn't let go. It fights to the death for what it believes in. So you apply that to the game, you apply that to my life, you apply it to everything that we've got going on. That's basically what it's become. And for life, I feel that it's always a fight. I don't understand the word lose. I don't understand the word can't. I don't understand the word fail. I understand the word learn. And when you work so hard to get to a certain level, you Google pit bull right now, I come up before the dog. I always say it's the truth. I'm the only legal pit bull in Dade County because they're all illegal in Dade County. And what I stand for is, I stand for the world. But anywhere I go in the world, I represent 305 Dade County, Miami to the fullest. If it wasn't for the city, I wouldn't be who I am. And that's what this pit fight for. I love the hustle, love the grind, love the fight. Why does it rejuvenate me? Because when you love it, they say when you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And to me, I love that. I don't like things handed to me. I like to earn it. If you earn your keep, it's fair for you to fight for it. It's about showing up, don't talk about it, be about it. And that's why when you hear me say, take your life from a negative to a positive, what's a story without ups and downs, valleys, peaks, losing? You know, you gotta lose, you gotta slip, you gotta fall. Everybody does. They're not mistakes, they're must-takes. And you don't make mistakes, mistakes make you. So you gotta just take it on. Welcome it. Welcome it. Let it knock you on your ass. You can knock me down, but you won't knock me out. Nobody gets on a roller coaster that just goes straight. And life's a roller coaster, baby. You want it to go up and down and tear and twist and do all of that, because that's what makes it worth living. Failure is the mother of all success. If you don't lose, you don't appreciate a win. That's like a boxer that says he's never been hit. Doesn't exist. That's like a ball player that's never missed. Doesn't exist. But if you're able to pivot, always find a way to mutate, modify, then you'll be all right. But how does that happen? You gotta challenge yourself. You gotta take the risk. The biggest risk you take is not taking one. You gotta be able to think out the box and go, even though everybody's going right, I gotta go left with this one, but you're listening to your gut. I've been raised off of a lot of motivation. My mother, when I was younger, she would put Anthony Robbins tapes, in the car. It's just always keeping me motivated and inspired, so I've always looked for positive ways. So I've done the same thing with music. Patience, passion, perseverance equals success. And working hard. In the music game, you gotta give somebody a good product, make sure they like it. So the difference is my product, you don't snort it, you listen to it. And being an entrepreneur is understanding that the word no is a great word. And no, they taught me, and O means new opportunity. I love rapping, I love having a great time and telling a story. But what I like to do is show people growth, maturity, and evolution. So a lot of people tell me, it's like, hey Chico, how come you don't rap for the streets no more? I tell them, it's real simple, dog. I rap to get out the streets, not to stay in the streets. Even if you're in the streets, can you imagine? Why would you want to push the same product everybody pushing? Now you got to fight for territory. Now you got to fight for a spot. Now you got to fight for a hole. You got to fight for a trap. Imagine if you come up with your own product. Nobody looking at what you're doing. You got your own hole, your own trap, your own block, your own everything. Now you create your own city, your own world. So if you got good karma, then the law of attraction is going to give you great karma. So I think if you're a good person, good business, and work hard, create that reputation, and the puzzle comes together. In the law of attraction, I believe it exists. I'm constantly writing down my goals because I'm writing records. Good thing is that once a record goes, it's basically like your goal is now out there in the universe and everybody's helping you on that goal. Listen, yes, they're party records, you're having fun, you're enjoying, but there's messages in here. You go from either hearing the record to really listening to the record, and then you start to connect the dots. You gotta envision it, you gotta focus, you gotta believe in it, and you gotta get used to the word no. The word no becomes yes. Simplicity is the key to success. So I'll round up that with this. In the word can't is can, in the word don't is do. In the word won't is one, in the word impossible is possible, and in the word impossible is impossible. Once you figure out you're possible, you can break through any barrier, any border, there's no limits, and you live life how you want to live it instead of life living you. My mother always told me nobody's dumb, nobody's stupid. It's just, you gotta figure out how you learn. It's almost like think of it as a garden. You plant certain seeds. Some grow quicker than others. Some take a little longer. Some need more TLC than others. But living in this society of instant gratification, I want you to understand this. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And more than anything, at a young age, understanding that it's not about the money. My mother always said, money's a passport, allows you to come and go, but it does not make you. You work hard for the money, so the money work hard for you. Money don't make you, you make money. Make a difference, take a risk. That's how you really live out your dream. But if you're worried about what everybody's talking about you, forget about it. Then you're caught up in the noise. I still got a BlackBerry. What does BlackBerry allow me to focus on? Family, business, that's all I need to focus on. I don't care what they say about me or they don't, because you'll never make everybody happy. That's for sure. I never got caught up with the fame. I never got caught up with being in the club every night. I don't even get caught up with social media. And it doesn't allow the noise to come in. When we were growing up, they say, believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see. Now it's believe none of what you hear and none of what you see. So my biggest advice to you guys, don't get caught up with the hype, because everybody now, They try to act like they're living a life that they're not. They try to be somebody that they're not. And I'm telling you because I deal with it. It's a part of my industry, a part of my business. But it messes with me when it influences people that are trying to create something in their life. So don't get caught up with that. And that's why I would dislike for you guys to lose your life and time just staring at a screen all day, worrying about what other people worrying about. I'm telling you, again, life do like this. Boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, you're 30 years old and going, what just happened? Bottom line, focus, envision, set goals, believe, and not selfish, but self first. And what I mean by self first, love yourself first, help yourself first, believe in yourself first. Then you can love others, help others, and others will believe in you. But if you ain't in tune with yourself, believe me, you ain't fooling anybody but yourself. Right now, we're living in a society that they actually believe that perfection exists, which, by the way, it doesn't. And imperfection is what it is to be perfect. And when you have a society that's driven by followers and likes, forget about followers and likes. You should hang around leaders and unique. You gotta love yourself. And then you believe in yourself and you create things out of nothing, you know, from nothing to something. Every record that y'all seen that touched the world, that I've been very blessed. Thank God for that. Thanks to the fans for that. They told me it was not gonna be a hit. They didn't believe in it. All the execs was like, you're crazy. This is never gonna work. Every one that they thought was gonna be a hit, I threw it out the window because it didn't work. So what do? You gotta listen to your gut. You gotta believe in yourself. You believe in yourself, others believe in you. You help yourself, you can help others. You love yourself, you can love others. It starts with you. Not from a selfish standpoint, but from a believing in yourself standpoint. And being willing to fail to be the fun part. That's the fun part. When people are looking at you like you're crazy, that means you're doing something right. If you're worried about your credibility, it's because you were never credible in the first place. Because you're worried about what other people think about you. You got to go for it. And at first they're not going to see it, because to have vision is to understand everybody else is blind. But when they do, then everybody's on it. There's a slogan that I live by, which is, there's no losing, only learning. No failure, only opportunities, and no problems, only solutions. So when you look at life like that, anything that's put in your way, you look at it like, okay, this happened for a reason, for me to figure out another way to go. And for me, I've never really looked at anything as a low point, because I say it in the record, Time of Our Lives with Neo, every day above ground is a great day. So if you could look at life like that, then you can take it on, be motivated and inspired, and instead of expecting things, you appreciate them. So enjoy the ride, live life, don't let life live you. And you gotta live for the moment. Learn from the past, live for the moment, build for the future. But you gotta live for the moment. That's what living is about. When it gets easy, it becomes boring. And those tough challenges, what you gotta do is you gotta meet them face on, head on. Don't procrastinate. Don't leave something for tomorrow that you could do today.
I'm telling you folks, why dream when you can live it?